Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has attributed the proliferation of universities to mounting pressure from lawmakers. Alausa spoke at the third edition of the 2025 Ministerial Press Briefing in Abuja on Thursday. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the federal government is under increasing pressure to reform the country's education sector. NAN also reports that with almost 200 bills pending in the National Assembly for the creation of new universities, concerns are growing that the system is becoming overwhelmed. Alausa emphasized that strengthening the capacity of existing institutions is more important than establishing new ones. According to him, there is no need to pressure the president into approving more universities. We must focus on our capacities. We need to stop this from happening. There is so much pressure on the president, and we must be sensitive to it. Lawmakers are passing numerous bills. Today I can tell you that there are almost 200 bills in the National Assembly. We cannot continue like this. Even though we have many universities, they lack the capacity to admit enough students. What we need now is to rebuild the capacity so they can offer more viable courses to our citizens, he said. He added that the university enrollment rates are not keeping pace with the rising number of institutions. If you look at overall enrollment figures, private universities, despite making up just 1% of the system, account for only 7.5% of total undergraduate enrollment. The total number of undergraduates today is about 805,000, which is relatively low. We have universities with fewer than 1,000 undergraduate students, yet there is an intense demand for more universities to be opened. This must stop, he said. Alausa stated that several key proposals had been put forward to address the challenges facing Nigeria's education sector. On specialized universities, the minister urged these institutions to stick to their core mandates. According to him, there is a need to reduce the number of non-technical courses in specialized universities and instead offer them in conventional institutions. He also reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to reducing the number of out-of-school children and creating pathways for them to access tertiary education. Nigeria must improve current varsities instead of adding more, according to the Minister of Education.
Michael, you will believe with me that our universities are underperforming.
Our universities? You mean all universities?
Our universities are underperforming. Nigerian universities are underperforming.
Why make such claim?
Why make such? I finished from the university.
Okay, what do you mean by underperforming?
They are not performing at par. They are not performing as a university.
In terms of
infrastructure, studying environment. See, do you know how painful it is that students, they were dragging over classrooms? 21st century. They are dragging. When I mean dragging over classrooms, they skip lectures because there is no available classroom.
Or they walk long distances to
No, we are coming to that. So let's look at the environment, the university. The clamor for creating of more universities because of TED fund. When the TED fund comes, they know how they handle it. See, we should come to a system in which personal interest should die and national interest should rise.
Okay.
Wherein we can hear a nation bleeding and we bring the bandage to stop it, to stop our bleeding. Wherein we can bring our ears down and hear the nation crying, and we go to the nation and wipe the tears. Not hearing a crying nation and you are bringing cane to flog the nation again. How do I mean? I did computer appreciation as GS course in my institution. We were not given opportunity to sit on a system for once. You are telling me about software development with a textbook. With a textbook, the manual you prepared and gave to me, computer. I'm supposed to have, as I'm coming to school, there should be a computer lab. that you accommodate. If Uniport, for instance, is admitting 2,000 students, you know that these 2,000 students, they will come to take computer appreciation as a general course. There should be a lab that is made up of 2,000 computers. That during this course, the student will sit with the system because it's programmed.
Okay.
But it's not there. I have a friend who's finished as an electrical engineer. When they were teaching them about circuit, they were watching it on the television.
Maybe that was visual learning.
We can be. This is. No. How do you want me to put it to you? How do you want me to put it to you? Should I continue? There are men. I can give you instances. So how do you expect? Okay, I'm not saying we are talking about people that people are not in school. Yes, they will not. Because they're saying that school is calm. That is the normal language in Nigeria. I finished. I brought my certificate, the A4. And I showed it to somebody. Finally, I've gotten my certificate. The person looked at me and laughed. I said, so this is what you went and spent all the money, your time and everything for.
But you know, it's a system. It's not a waste.
I'm coming, sir. I finished. I went for an interview. I'm saying on air now. At the end of the interview, the HROM that came from Lagos to conduct the interview told me that my blueprint was better. In fact, they are going to use the blueprints. But a top government official in the state has given them somebody before they came. They gave me 20,000 to pay as transportation. Since that day, I have not applied for an interview again. I have not. So in this scenario, how do you encourage someone to go to school? You are giving students loan to come to school. Where is the working environment for them? We have an institution that are teaching people about entrepreneurship. What are the scales of entrepreneurship? To sit in the classroom and they are teaching you entrepreneurship is this. There are some courses that are more practical.
And recently there's been a surge in turning vocational polytechnics, those who are more focused on University of Education, they are now turning them into universities. And there's an outcry that we are shifting from the more practical aspect of education to the theoretical part. So how would you link it now to creating more universities?
No. Linking this to creating more universities still creating more institutions of theoretical practice rather than being pragmatic in our practice. Let's work on the ones we have. Let's have enough laboratory for them. There is nothing wrong that you are in the higher institution. There is also a provision for a trade in the school.
Let me say so.
They should include it in your tuition fee.
If you go to buy, let's say you want to buy bole, the locally made yam,
Yes.
and then there are 3 women who sells that bole in the junction, and each of them have different price tags. When you go to buy the bole, will you consider the price differences or the quality of the food you want to buy?
Number one, it depends on the personality of the person. Like me, I prefer to get something quality.
Irrespective of the price.
Irrespective of the price.
So you wouldn't feel the person even when
Now,
you're getting quality.
What happens is that by the time you compare, you will know why this person's price is higher.
But you know, there's a psychology of influence that states that we believe that the higher cost of a thing tells the value, but most times it's
false. It's false.
So
but by the time you see the quality of the thing, you can align it. Like, let's take for instance someone that I don't just buy something because you are buying it. Okay. If I see it, I like it, I can pay for it. But if I see it, I like it, and I still ask the price, and I see that the price is not rhyming, Oga, I leave it and I move on.
Let's picture universities as bullet joints.
And what?
Let's create a picture of universities as the bullet joints I just gave you now, and then you, the buyer, as jam candidates who want to get into school, and then you have a proliferation of universities, each offering different value at different rates. Don't you think that's also helping in boosting the education system?
How will it? We're having universities.
There's an also.
No. Sorry, sir. As far as Nigeria is concerned, we have National University Commission, right? NUC, right?
Yeah.
Now, the school fees that all the federal university is paying is being regulated from one body, right? The state university's own is higher than before, but now, before we were going to federal university because it was cheaper. But states now, people are even running to states now instead of the federal. Now, if you are looking at the proliferation of universities now, the private universities, that one is even the worst. Some private universities don't have up to 500 students.
Okay.
They don't have up to 500 students.
Why do you think so? Is it because of the price? But you know,
Oga,
it's been alleged that most private universities are alleged actually could offer you at least.
Most private universities, look, listen. It is here now that we prefer private school to government school. Do you know why? By right, government has the sophisticated, needed materials for the right knowledge that the society needs. So we are supposed to embrace what is government institutions than private institutions. We are supposed to embrace, okay, why is it that even private, okay, let's bring it from this aspect. Even private hospital in the long run, they will refer it to UPTH.
Because they say that they should have better facilities there.
So the same thing should happen in our academic institutions. When you come to this private school, how much are they paying as school fees? And how many persons will be able to fit in to pay that price? So these are the things. If they can work on Uniport has the landmass of Uniport can accommodate vocational centers. If we can have an educational system, an academic system that empowers me as a student, in my tuition fee, a subsidized payment for vocational studies, skill acquisition, wherein I can go and learn something with myself. Not just the paper that they are giving to me, not just the assignment that they are giving to me, not just that I should be reading a textbook written by a lecturer that most time I bought a textbook that from a lecturer that what the lecturer was teaching was not in a textbook. He just wanted to sell the textbook.
So what you're trying to say now is not just based on the university, it's based on the courses being offered that are not pragmatic to real life situations.
It's not pragmatic, and even the ones that are supposed to be pragmatic, there are not facilities to help the students.
So what's your suggestion?
My suggestion is that they could equip the already existing university and leave creating other universities. They should empower the university.
Okay.
Empowerment has to do with better living.
Okay.
There should be provision of academic buses. Like, okay, let's take for the one that is closer to us. Let's take Uniport for instance. This federal institution. In Uniport now they have Choba, they have Alakaya, they have Alo. Now students have started moving because of this thing now. They are entering places like Rumalogu and the rest. That should be not just the bus. The intervention bus they have in the university just stop at the school gate. It picks students from the gates into the school. And how long will students wait for the bus to return? No, there should be intervention buses in each of these places to convert students to school. Now, when they come to school, there should be a conducive environment for the student, not where students will be standing and be sitting down to write joining lectures. Okay,
you have a point there. I'm also looking at the fact that medical schools, there are times, like I finished from my alma mater, we found out that most times Abia State University, they want to get they need 200 students for medicine. But at the end of the day, they end up getting 500 students or 400 or 600 students or above, and all these persons are, meanwhile, they needed 200 students. So all the persons who get into their first year, get into
That's
second
corruption.
year. Now, if there are other universities that have good medical schools, don't you think this will also curb the influx
the
of people
same
into
thing
one?
is happening in all the institutions. Listen, greed is ruining us. We know the number of students that our institution, that's what we are saying here. We said some of the institutions don't have 1,000 students, right? From what we read. Now, what happened? What is the NUC doing? The National Association of Nigerian Students, what are they doing? They are saddled with this. During this admission process, how many candidates are you looking at in the institutions?
These people most times force themselves into the school.
You can't see.
The lecturers will tell you that.
No. You can't use that word. Force yourself. No, excuse me. Who approved your admission?
The lecturers will tell you that.
Who approved the admission now?
The school body, the body.
It's the school body that approved the admission. There is nobody that will force itself if the school does not permit.
What I'm saying is that it comes to a point where it becomes the highest bid that gets. I want my child to study medicine in this school.
Yes.
I will pay the money.
That's where corruption comes in, because you that is even collecting the money, you are corrupt.
Will you reject such money?
Why won't you reject it if you want the system to work? If you want this system to work, why won't you reject it? No, sorry. I'm outside here and I'm a rector. I have encountered situations. One of the professors in the state, the PA met me. It was a juicy offer. There is nothing I will tell my boss will not do. I should add over 5 million naira to a property for him. I can't say, on the long run, whose head will it bounce? On the long, when the man was then talking to me, asking me, that ruined my relationship with the man. But I opted not telling him. He should discover by himself, because I know one day faith will run out of the PA. Because it is going to, I can't entangle myself. We are talking about our institution that should work. You are telling me that a lecturer, you are telling me that someone in school's authority is going to get money by merit, 200 persons are to merit admission. You are not going to get money from 300 extra persons because there is money to be spent. When they come into the institution now, they keep spending that money, and we end up having quack doctors.
At the end of the day, they yank them, they split them into different departments after that first MBBL exam.
So you now end up producing doctors that are quack because you believe in your money. You now end up producing lawyers that is making us to suffer what we are suffering in the society. You now end up producing engineers. I do, you know, my work that I went to supervise a work by a civil engineer. A civil engineer was setting. Oh, let's not talk about it. So this is what is happening in the system. First, there is no enabling environment for good for a smooth running of our academic session. No enough classrooms. Hostel spaces are not there. Look at the hike in our hostel spaces there. To stay in the hostel is more costlier than staying off campus. Now, no electricity for studying, no adequate laboratory or theater for whatever you want to do, no practical section for you. You are studying computer science, you don't have equipped computer lab. How much is the price of a laptop now? And a lecturer categorically said that education is not for the poor. A lecturer that was sponsored by community fund. Now, upon all this now, the same lecturer will now go and take money from extra students just for him, so that he will now drive his car and say, I'm a lecturer, so that he will build his house while you are being paid. On the long run, we're now having quack in our educational system. And that's why in our academic, our tertiary institution, cultism is on the rise. Lesbianism is on the rise. Homosexuality is on the rise. Drug addiction is on the rise. Prostitution is there. Sexual harassment is there. Mention the vices. Because those that are not fit to be there, those that are meant to be trained in other field, you are accommodating them because they are giving you money. And that's why they are calling for more universities. To have their ways. It's high time we sit back. I said it before.